Yes, the screen still flickers every now and then, but giving it a squeeze at the bottom it goes away, so I will look at those components inside in the future. As someone had pointed out earlier, in the previous video we're looking for what could have play in it, where I think it's the central pivot joint that's the big thing. This one, the pin moves a little. The generators had worn collectors, or I'm not sure exactly what these pieces, regulators are called in English, the correct term for them, but we could only get hold of one more for the forwarder at first, so one had been replaced, and now the other one. Also tightened the belts up a tiny bit, might need a little more tightening. Also it squeals a little on startup sometimes. I marked some of the lumber that's ready for transportation. Had made a template out of metal and a spray can. We have since bought the stamping kit to be able to stamp them, so that will be used in the future. Also had a little visit from a dog out, probably searching for something to hunt. I guess there were some hunters around somewhere also. The step on the crane base was put back. That had been removed earlier, if you follow me, to tighten up a hose under it. They are really quite dry, the machines now. Have not filled any oil whatsoever this winter. This step is kind of wonky. I think it's been damaged in the past, so it kind of only sits on 3 points where it should contact on 4 of them. But that's not a big issue. With that in place, it was time to tackle a light that's not putting out any light anymore, and I have some leftover lights. My dad had made these protection covers for it, because it should have had them from new, but they have probably been damaged and never replaced, so he had built something himself, but it was a little hard because you had to undo the like protection, because the light is bolted to that. So in hindsight it would have been better to mount it to the bottom of this and make it easier to replace a light, but I bolted it back in the same place. I didn't do any upgrades to it. This is also some leftover second-hand light, but good enough for now. By now most of what will be done after this is some clear cutting, so the load flags was folded out. 2 of them still have the gas struts inside them that kind of makes them wonky to get out. This one, and then the forward-most one on the other side, but it kind of hinders more than helps now, I think, with them being old and not doing what they're supposed to anymore. In the other ones they are simply removed. So it's not as easy to fold them in and out as it once was, but it's very nice to get a lower loading platform and being out in open areas where it's being clear cut. So it was all folded out, no real issues. Also wanted to check how the new crane pillar that was installed last winter is doing. It has maybe 100 hours or so on it now. I had upgraded to a magnetic plug here. It didn't come with a magnetic plug when nothing could be seen on the plug itself, and the oil looks pristine. They called for replacing it at 250 hours. Can anyone give me a good reason why replacing it that early would be required if nothing can be seen on the plug, and I keep checking it and draining any water seen? Figured it could do the 2000 hours it would call for after the first oil change? Question mark.